In today's video, we're looking at how Hitler became the leader of the Nazi Party. There are 3 essential questions that you should be able to answer by the end of this video. The first is, what kind of upbringing and early life did Hitler have? The second, what changes did Hitler make to the Nazi Party? And finally, what was Hitler like as a leader? So let's start with Adolf Hitler's early years. He was born on April 20th, 1889 in Braunau, Austria, which you can see on the map. It's very close to the border with Germany. His dad, whose name was Alois, was a customs official, and he didn't have a very good relationship with little Adolf. As a result, Hitler disliked his dad, but he really loved his mother, whose name was Clara. Hitler's dad died when Hitler was 14 years old, and unfortunately his mom died from cancer when he was 18. In school, he wasn't a very good student. He was quite lazy, and he didn't have a lot of friends. As a result, he left school at the age of 15. After leaving school, he moved to Vienna at the age of 16, with the dream and goal of becoming an artist. He applied to study at the Vienna Academy of Art, but he was rejected. And he was rejected because he didn't graduate from school. Hitler lived in Vienna for a total of 5 years, and during this time he was very poor. In order to make a living, he painted postcards, shoveled snow, all sorts of little odd jobs to get by. At one point, he worked as a builder's laborer, but he was fired when a Jewish trade union official discovered that he was not a member of the union. It was during his time in Vienna that he developed strong hatred of foreigners and Jews. By 1914, Hitler had moved to Munich, which is in southern Germany, and when World War I was announced, he immediately joined the German army. In the army, he was a regimental runner, which is a very dangerous job. His job was to run between the trenches, taking notes and orders from commanders to the front line, and vice versa. So it was quite a dangerous job because a runner would often be out in the line of fire. He was actually a very good soldier and won the Iron Cross, as well as 5 other medals for bravery. However, in 1918, near the end of the war, he was badly gassed and lost his vision for a while. And while he was in hospital recuperating, the armistice was signed and the German Revolution took place. Hitler was extremely bitter about Germany's defeat, and he blamed Germany's defeat on both communists and Jews. After World War I, Hitler moved back to Munich, which you can see is in the south of Germany. He was still employed by the army, and his job was to run evening classes and political education for the army. So basically, he lectured returning soldiers on the dangers of communism, socialism, and pacifism. His second job was to check up on and investigate extremist groups, because there were a lot of them at work in Munich at the time, and, if necessary, counter their propaganda. Moving on to Hitler and the German Workers' Party, which is also known as the DAP, the Deutsche Arbeiterpartei. The DAP was a group that Hitler had come across in his job as an investigator for the army. It was an extreme right-wing party that was founded in 1919 by a man named Anton Drexler. When it was founded, the party had only 6 members. It believed in a few different things. First, it blamed communists and socialists for the abdication of the Kaiser. Second, it blamed the Weimar government for the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. Third, it blamed the Jews for weakening the economy. And furthermore, it didn't believe in democracy. So it was basically anti-Weimar Republic. At first, Hitler was not very impressed, but he did agree with many of their ideas, so he joined the party in late September. However, some textbooks say November 1919. Drexler soon picked up on Hitler's strengths as an orator and public speaker, and he put Hitler in charge of the propaganda and the political ideas of the party. As part of this role, in 1920, Hitler helped draft the party's 25-point program, which was basically a statement that outlined what they believed in. So, for example, they hated the Weimar government and wanted to overthrow it. They thought that the Social Democrats were communists. Furthermore, in 1920, the DAP got a new name. It was now called the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the NSDAP, or Nazi for short. Then, in 1921, Hitler actually took complete control over the party and organized it along military lines. For instance, he created the Stormtroopers, the Sturmabteilung. They were also known as the SA, which is much easier for me to say, or the brown shirts, basically because, as you can see in the picture, they wore brown shirts. These were mostly young men, former members of the Freikorps, and their purpose was to protect Nazi speakers at meetings. However, they often broke up political meetings of their opponents, like the Social Democrats, so they were actually quite a violent group. Later on, Hitler adopted the swastika as part of the Nazi flag. This is an iconic symbol, but let's look at its history a little more closely. The swastika has had a long 5,000-year history. It originally signified good fortune or well-being. However, throughout the 1920s and 30s, it became widely used by right-wing political parties in Germany, as it became associated with the idea of a racially pure Germany. And, as aforementioned, in 1921, the Nazi Party adopted it as their flag. Hitler designed the flag and used the colors red, white, and black because these were the colors of the German flag under the Kaiser. So these colors helped relate the Nazi Party back to the glory days of the Kaiser. Overall, the flag quickly became the most powerful and recognizable symbol of the Nazi Party. It was like their brand. They were branding the Nazi Party, just like Nike has the easily recognizable Nike swoosh. Here's what Hitler had to say about the Nazi flag. A symbol, it really is. In red, we see the social idea of the movement. In white, the nationalist idea. In the swastika, the mission of the struggle for the victory of the Aryan man. And to Hitler, Aryan meant racially pure white man. So the flag became the calling card for the party, and it represented its ideals. As I've said, Hitler became the leader of the Nazi Party in 1921, but it wasn't until 1922 that Hitler became the undisputed leader of the party. He won this position through his many strengths, some of which included his powerful and dominating nature, as well as his intelligence, decisiveness, and charisma. Hitler had the ability to draw people towards himself and the party. An example of the way he stimulated interest in the party was how he often gave a public speech. In preparation, Hitler would carefully rehearse all of his speeches. Not only would he rehearse his lines, he would also practice his gestures, posture, and the manner in which he said things. On the day of his speech, he would often arrive late to the meeting, stand silent for several minutes, and start speaking softly, while building up to a furious finale. This all added to Hitler's appeal as a leader. We've been looking at how Hitler became the leader of the Nazi Party, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.